There is a habit so deeply wired into you that you don't even notice when you're doing it. You do it at work, you do it in relationships, you do it with strangers, with family, with people who will never change their minds about you no matter what you say. You do it when someone doubts you. You do it when someone misunderstands you. You do it when someone questions your choices, challenges your character, or simply looks at you the wrong way. You explain yourself, and every single time you do, you give away something you can never get back. Most people believe that explanation is a form of respect, that walking someone through your reasoning shows them you take them seriously. The need to explain yourself is not a sign of clarity. It is a symptom of something much deeper, a belief that your value requires other people's approval to exist. Niccolo Machiavelli spent his life studying power, not the kind written in philosophy books or preached from pulpits. Real power, the kind that survived assassination attempts, court betrayals, political reversals. He watched princes rise and fall. He catalogued every mistake the weak made and every move the powerful made differently. And one pattern appeared so consistently that he returned to it again and again. The people who maintained total control over their circumstances were the ones who never felt the need to justify themselves to those beneath their concern. Not because they were cold, not because they were arrogant, but because they understood something fundamental about human psychology that most people never learn. Explanation signals uncertainty, and uncertainty invites attack. What I'm going to talk you through is exactly why explaining yourself is costing you power, influence, and respect, and what to replace it with. 7 principles, each one drawn from the same strategic tradition that Machiavelli refined, and that every genuinely powerful person throughout history has understood and applied. This will not make you cruel. It will not make you closed. It will make you untouchable. Principle 1, every explanation is an apology in disguise. Let's start with the mechanism, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. When you explain yourself, what are you actually communicating? On the surface, you're sharing information, you're giving someone context. But beneath the surface, every explanation carries a hidden message. And that message is this: I need you to agree with me before I can feel secure in my own decision. That is an apology. It is a request for permission from someone who has no authority over you. Think about the last time someone you genuinely respected made a decision that affected you. Did they talk you through their reasoning unprompted? Did they lay out every factor they considered, every alternative they weighed, every doubt they overcame? Or did they simply make the decision and move forward? And somehow, that quiet confidence made you trust them more, not less. Machiavelli wrote about the prince who exhausted his own credibility by constantly explaining his edicts to the people. Every justification he offered was interpreted not as transparency, but as weakness, as if the decision needed defending, as if he wasn't sure. And once that seed of doubt was planted, it grew. The people began questioning not just the explanation, but the underlying decision. The more he talked, the less they believed him. The practical shift here is simple and immediate. When you make a decision, make it. When someone asks why, you are allowed to say, because it's what I've decided, and leave it there. Principle 2, you are teaching people how to debate you. Here is the strategic reality that most people never consider. Every explanation you give is also a map. When you explain your reasoning, you reveal which factors you consider important, which objections you're already worried about, and which arguments you believe are strong enough to justify your position. You explain why you ended the relationship, and now they know which regrets to amplify. You explain why you made the financial decision, and now they have a target list of every assumption they can challenge. Machiavelli called this the disclosure trap. The prince, who explains his strategy to his advisors, does not gain their loyalty. He gives them the coordinates they need to outmaneuver him. The person who knows your full reasoning is the person who can take it apart piece by piece. And once they're inside your logic, you're no longer having a conversation. You're having a negotiation where they have read your opening position, make your decisions from a place they can't access, share the outcome, keep the architecture private. Principle 3, silence is not absence, it's dominance. We are told that silence is passive, that it signals you have nothing to say, no defense to mount, no ground worth holding. That is exactly backwards. When you respond to a challenge with silence, not cold silence, not sulking silence, but calm, grounded, unhurried silence, you force the other person to fill the space. And how they fill it tells you everything. The person who challenges your decision and is met with your patient, unshaken presence will do one of two things. They will either escalate, at which point they reveal that their challenge was emotional, not logical, or they will retreat, at which point they have answered their own question. Either way, you never left the driver's seat. There is a specific silence that Machiavelli identified in the great commanders and statesmen he studied. He called it the silence of a man who has already decided. It is not the silence of someone who is thinking. It is not the silence of someone who is scared. It is the silence of someone for whom the conversation was already over before it started. That silence is a message. The next time someone presses you for a justification, you don't owe them. A co-worker who questions your approach, a family member who challenges your priorities, try saying nothing or try saying simply, "I understand, you see it differently." And then move on with your day. Principle 4, the more you explain, the more they question. This is the part that will seem counterintuitive until you have lived it. You explain yourself to reduce doubt. You believe that if you make your reasoning clear enough, the questions will stop. But every explanation you give produces new questions, not because your reasoning is flawed, because explanation signals that you are open to being reasoned with, and people will keep reasoning with you as long as you remain open. Psychologically, an explanation is an invitation. You are saying, "Come inside this decision with me, walk around in my thinking, look for the loose boards." And people do. The explanation triggers the examination. Machiavelli watched this dynamic destroy rulers. Each explanation carved away a little more of the prince's mystique, a little more of his perceived certainty, until he was no longer a leader. People followed on faith. Principle 5, know who deserves your reasoning, and it is almost nobody. This principle requires honesty because there are people in your life to whom you genuinely owe transparency. Your real allies, your trusted inner circle. Everyone else is the many, and to the many, your decision is your decision. Your boundary is your boundary. Your choice is your choice. They do not get a tour of the internal process. Machiavelli was precise about this distinction. Principle 6, what you don't say builds the fortress. Here is the psychological architecture of a person who cannot be destabilized. They have an inside and an outside. The outside is what the world sees, composed, decided, present. The inside is where the real process happens. The doubt, the recalibration, the genuine wrestling with complexity. These two things are kept deliberately separate. The outside is curated, the inside is protected. Most people collapse this distinction entirely. They perform their entire internal process in public. Every doubt is voiced, every recalibration is announced. Every moment of uncertainty is shared, usually with the people most motivated to exploit it. And then they wonder why they feel exposed, why they feel like people are always finding the crack, why they can never seem to establish real authority in their relationships. The crack is what they showed, the uncertainty they narrated, the doubt they invited feedback on. Machiavelli understood the fortress of self-containment. He wrote that a ruler's greatest strength was not his army or his wealth, but the quality of information he kept private. What the enemy doesn't know, the enemy can't use. Principle 7, your silence rewrites the story. The final principle is the most sophisticated and the one that the most powerful communicators throughout history have understood most deeply. You do not control the narrative by explaining yourself. You control it by existing in a way that makes explanation unnecessary. When you explain yourself, you are responding to someone else's framing. You are entering their story about who you are and what you did, and defending your place within it. And the moment you step into their framing, you have conceded that their framing is worth responding to. 7 principles all pointing toward the thing. Stop volunteering your reasoning to people who haven't earned it. Stop mistaking explanation for respect. Real respect is given to people who don't require it. You are not a decision waiting to be overturned by a sufficiently persuasive counterargument. You are someone who has already decided. Let that be the only thing they know.